Harry Potter flew in on his broomstick and ruled the box office this past weekend. Over its first 5 days, the Half-Blood Prince made nearly $160 million worth of sales in North America, nearly $400 million worldwide. Gitesh Pandya is the editor of BoxOfficeGuru.com. He joins us now to discuss Potter mania. It's amazing that this series continues to have legs. When you look at the number, how they did in 5 days at the box office, are these really, contentious numbers here? Should we be impressed with that level? Because some of these box office records that have been held lately, in another environment, would have been much to speak of at all.
Well, in this industry, we break records pretty much every 10 seconds. That's how the Hollywood studios love to do it. I think it's a very impressive opening. It's actually 14% better than the last Harry Potter film in grosses, and still 7% bigger in admissions, in actual tickets sold. So it's a great start. A lot of it is because of the anticipation. This one was delayed from last November to July. The studio had typically a year-and-a-half gap in between films. This is the longest gap ever for a Harry Potter film series, and no new books have come out. So the fans have been waiting for this so eagerly, and they came out not just on the opening weekend, but right there on the opening day. It was a record $22.2 million in just the post-midnight sales last Tuesday night. And since then, the day-to-day breakdown is becoming closer and closer to the last Harry Potter. So it's really more of that upfront demand.
So 22.2 post-midnight on Thursday. I mean, is there a safety spot here when it comes to the box office? Is it like with retail when you say parents are still going to spend on their kids even if they are cutting back on their own night out? Is that it, or is it just this brand?
Well, I mean, it's certainly the brand number one, because it's probably the most durable brand in the movie industry. You're talking about 6 films over 8 years. The 6th film in a franchise never does this well. So the fans are still very interested in the property, and there's still 2 more movies to go. And on average, they gross about $896 million worldwide each. So this one should have no problem grossing, probably, I'm guessing, about $950 million worldwide, possibly $1 billion. So for the post-midnight sales, for example, the last Harry Potter film did $12 million. This one almost doubled that because of all those fans going out right up front with the capes and the hats on, just going crazy over this movie.
And Viacom had really been sort of in a position of power, some would say, of how they've done with action films this summer. Time Warner, though, makes Harry Potter. Do they have more movies of this level in the pipeline this summer?
Well, their biggest brands, of course, would be the Batman and the Harry Potter films. And, this weekend, they pushed the film onto this weekend because it's the same weekend last year that The Dark Knight came out and broke all the records.
Easier comparison for them.
Right. So it actually made the same amount of money as Dark Knight, only over 5 days instead of 3 days, because that movie opened on a Friday. But, this is pretty much the biggest brand they have out there. So they have a Sherlock Holmes coming later in the year, towards the end of the year. But that's not as a trusted brand as this one here. And Warner Brothers and Paramount are now tied for market share for the year, $1.13 billion. Transformers, of course, is Paramount. It's the biggest movie of the year. But now Warner Brothers, within a day or two, will take that lead in market share.
All right. Thank you so much, Gitesh.
Thank you.
Well, Gitesh is from BoxOfficeGuru.com.